Welcome to Village of Bartlett Board Meeting for January 16, 2024. Happy New Year. I call this meeting to order and ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Daney?
Here.
Gansey?
Here.
Gunstein?
Here.
Hopkins?
Here.
Laporte?
Here.
Sawansky?
Here.
President Wallace?
Here. We've requested Pastor Alex Culpepper of Renovation Church to do our invocation. Thank you for being here, Alex.
Would you pray with me, please? Father, thank you for the gift it is to live in a community like this, especially with all of the cold and the snow. Thank you for snow plows and snow plow truck drivers and first responders who are helping keep people safe on the roads. And Lord, we recognize all of this as gift from you. And Lord, you have given people to steward these gifts, and you also give wisdom as a gift. And so we ask you for their sake that you would give a lot of wisdom tonight, enable people to listen well to each other, to interact well, and Lord, ultimately for the benefit of this community. So we recognize you as a good gift giver. We thank you for your gifts, and we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Looks like most of you guys didn't draw the short straw for the costume back there. Well, welcome, everyone. Brings us to our consent agenda this evening. All items listed with an asterisk will be enacted in one motion. There'll be no separate discussion with items on the consent. That being said, would anyone like to add or remove something from the consent?
Mr. President, I'd like to add A1 to the consent.
Add A1. Does anybody have any discussions around the special use permit for zoning Promenade Bartlett mixed use?
I'd like to remove item F2.
F2.
And I would like to remove item B1.
B1. Okay. You guys are making this complicated on me here. Remove. All right, I will entertain a motion to amend the consent agenda, which will now the amended will include the board and committee minutes from December 19, 2023, the bills list from January 2 and January 16, 2023. The new consent will add item A1 under Building and Zoning Committee. We'll be removing item B1 from the consent agenda. The new consent will be also including items F1. We'll be removing item F2 from the consent, and items F3 and 4 will be on the consent.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Hopkins, seconded by Trustee Daney. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Gunstein?
Yes.
Hopkins? Laporte?
Yes.
Sawansky?
Yes.
Daney?
Yes.
Gansey?
Yes.
The motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to approve the amended consent.
So moved.
Second. Yeah.
Moved by Trustee Daney, seconded by Trustee Hopkins. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Hopkins?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
Sawansky?
Yes.
Daney?
Yes.
Gansey?
Yes.
Gunstein?
Yes.
The motion carries. Brings us to our treasurer's report this evening. Mr. Treasurer.
Thank you. Included in the packets for tonight is the treasurer's report for the month of November. Also included is a sales tax report. We received $325,687. That was up $6,000 or about 2% from the prior year. For motor fuel tax, we received $170,467. That was up about $30,000. I think that was a blip. It usually have 1 month or so this time of the year that's higher than normal. And for the income tax distribution or the LGDF fund, we're up to $4,036,000 for the year. That would be $6,352,000 if we were at our full 10%. So that's it for the treasurer's report, unless there's any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Moves on to the President's report. First item on the Treasurer's report is Bob Allen retirement proclamation. A proclamation recognizing Public Works Civil Engineer Bob Allen upon his retirement from the Village of Bartlett. Whereas Bob Allen was hired as the civil engineer for Bartlett's Public Works Department in September of 2003, and for more than 20 years has provided both long-term planning and routine management for street, sewer, sidewalk, and other public works projects in the village. And whereas Bob came to the village with a degree in civil engineering from the University of Illinois and solid professional experience in both the private and public sectors, including previous positions at engineering firms and with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the McHenry County Department of Planning and Development, and the Village of Lyons. And whereas on any given day during his tenure, Bob was called upon to seamlessly switch from designing a public works-related project to helping budget for another, to researching our grants, to acting as a project manager and making sure all pertinent federal, state, and local laws, codes, and regulations were followed. And whereas his unimpeachable work ethic has quiet reliability as a problem solver has always made Bob invaluable to the village, maybe most notably when he took on the additional role and responsibilities of interim public works director for 3 months during 2014, when Bartlett was between directors. And whereas the village is forever appreciative that Bob has made the maintenance of Bartlett's infrastructure, including street construction, reconstruction, paving, drainage, and building and bridge construction, his full-time job for 20-plus years. Now, therefore, I, Kevin Wallace, President of the Village of Bartlett, Cook, DuPage, and Kane Counties, offer our many, many thanks to Bartlett Public Works Civil Engineer Bob Allen for his service to our community. We are proud to have had you as an employee to the Village of Bartlett, and we wish you a retirement free of potholes, both literal and figurative, and many years filled with good health and much happiness, dated the 16th day of January, 2024.
Congratulations, thank you. Enjoy your retirement.
Get a job at the Park District.
What do you want me to do? Just golfing. Congratulations.
And thank you to his wife for keep pushing him over to Bartlett every day for the 20-some years.
I just wanted to say quick.
Sure. Yeah. Please do.
I had a speech writer that let me down. No, I don't jump at the chance to speak. I just wanted to say, like many others you've heard, I came here 20 years ago and I stayed to work with all the great people here. And so I thank you a lot from the bottom of my heart for letting me be part of that for 20 years. I've really enjoyed it. It went by too quick. If I was younger, I'd do more. But it's time to step aside. Anyway, it's been my honor and a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. You can come back to the board meetings if you want, Bob.
I will. Some of the better people we talk about.
You'll get 3 minutes to speak.
Next item on the President's report this evening is National Night Out Award recognition. If that, I will turn it over to the Police Department.
Thank you, thank you. All right, well, good evening, everyone. I want to start by saying thank you to everyone for the continued support of our police department. The community showed up in record numbers. I know we say this every year, but it seems like every year we have a lot more people showing up. So we had record numbers again to all of our National Night Out events. That includes our Dog Walker Watch Summer Social, the Touch a Truck, our Family Fun Night, over 19 different block parties this year, the Family Golf event, and of course our grand finale of our Picnic in the Park. In our category, we took second place out of 26 cities nationwide. While we cannot dispute the rankings, I firmly believe Bartlett was first. And I say this because our invaluable partnerships with the community's residents, businesses, and organizations cannot be duplicated or replicated. On behalf of the Bartlett Police Department, I would like to thank the Village Board of Trustees and Village President Wallace for your continued support and generosity in organizing this successful event year in and year out. It would not be complete without a special thanks to the Village Administration, the Bartlett Park District, Bartlett Fire Protection District, Bartlett Hills Golf Club, and all of our volunteers and vendors who make this event possible, and it's unlike any other town around us. Lastly, I want to thank our community engagement team. This includes Officers Tracy Denninger, Vicki Anderson, and Michael Bingham. The planning for this event began in September of 2022. They worked tirelessly year-round to ensure each event was carefully organized to maximize the family's experience at each event. Their hard work and dedication continue to carry on this tradition in which we will see the community come together. Believe it or not, this was our 30th anniversary of participating in National Night Out, and I genuinely believe that we will participate in the next 30, continuing to build relationships within this great community. So our next National Night Out will kick off on June 15th with our annual Dog Walker Watch Summer Social and Training event, and it will end on August 6th with our picnic in the park. And we hope to see you all there as we try to get our first place trophy back in town. Thank you.
Yay. Yeah. We should get a picture with everybody in front here. You guys just want to switch in? Yeah. You guys want to line up here and then we can get a picture? Good job.
You gotta get over here.
You're fine. Who got first, by the way?
South Brunswick, New Jersey.
South Brunswick, New Jersey. They probably bought somebody off. Good job. Well done. Vicki, good job. Good job, everybody. Well done. Good job.
I didn't hear you.
I was looking at the newsletter.
You never trust anybody from Jersey.
Jersey.
Yeah, Brunswick, New Jersey. Make it.
Where the heck is New Brunswick?
It's in New Jersey. It's east.
Nice to see the pictures used in the newsletter, too.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. In National Magazine.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions for staff?
No, I have a couple of announcements I'd like to make. First, we have the only meeting in January, so the list is long. January anniversaries. We have Rob Sweeney, who's our deputy chief. He's serving 19 years. It almost sounds like a sentence. He's been here 19 years. He's not serving 19 years. And then we have Janelle Terrence. She's our human resources director. She has been with the village for 23 years. So that's our anniversaries. And now these birthdays, it's unbelievable the list. We have Dan Dinges, our public works director. His birthday was on the 1st of January. And he
New
only
Year's baby.
Yeah, he got one present, Christmas here.
They held out for the tax deduction, Dan.
John Peoples, he's our network administrator. His birthday was the 6th of January. Paula Schumacher, our village administrator, her birthday was on the 8th. Evan Beloved, our events coordinator at Bartlett Hills, his birthday was the 14th. And let me go through here. Coming up, we have Vicki McDermott, our records clerk. Her birthday is on the 25th. Paul Galvin, our assistant pro, his birthday is the 28th. Renee Swansky, who I have the privilege of sitting next to, her birthday is the 29th, right?
40 years old.
Did you get my gift?
You know, I haven't opened it yet, but it's waiting.
Then we have Corey Smith. His birthday is also on the 30th. Corey is our code enforcement officer. And then Gaby Fuenzo, she's our community relations director. Her birthday is on the 31st. So those are the birthdays. And welcome, happy birthday to all of you. And then also we have some commissioners that celebrated years of service in the month of January. We have John McGuire. He has 10 years of service on the fire and police. And John Miasso, planning and zoning, 10 years. So congratulations to everyone.
Yay.
I wanted to give a congratulations to Dan Dinges for getting the top 10 Public Works leaders, and then also to Tyler Isham for Young Leader of the Year.
Yeah. Superstar department.
Well, thank you, Stephanie. That's really, Dan, I just want to give a shout out to Public Works because the comments that I've gotten from the residents, they were extremely pleased with the plowing on the streets that we had. And I know the crews were out there, 16 hours? Yeah. Yeah, it was rough, but, and with the weather and everything. So shout out to Public Works. You guys did a great job.
Are they sending you guys to Disney World or anything? No? MVP, do you get to go to Disney World? You're more like the MVB, right? The most valuable bundler?
Oh, yeah.
Great America, they're sending them to Great
Yeah, Great America.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, seriously, you guys do a great job.
Weekend.
There is one thing, a comment that I got from a resident, and it's about the repair of the road on Prospect.
Prospect.
It's pretty rough. I'm sure that the contractor was in charge of that, and hopefully they're going to come back and fix it.
Yes, that's a temp patch. They'll come back in the spring. We ran out of season
Yeah,
and shut down.
that's what I told them.
It will come back and they'll actually pretty much go from center line to the curb and resurface that with all new, it'll be smooth when it's all done. I wish they would have did a better job on the temp patch, but that's what we got for now.
Yeah.
We'll deal with it until
With the
then.
plows, trying to get it plowed, it was pretty dangerous after the snow came, but, okay, thanks. Anything else?
It was very nice to see construction at 59 and West Bartlett Road cleaned up before the holidays.
Yeah.
It seems to be, I don't know, I can only guess that there's less aggravation and accidents at that intersection currently. So, great job on their part.
I have two items. One, could you share a little bit about the water main breaks last week? Speaking of Public Works.
We ended up having two on the same day we got all the snow, so it added to the fun. Nothing in particular. We don't really know why, but we ended up having to deal with two. We have another one that we're dealing with today that we did not finish. We'll come back tomorrow and hopefully finish it. But it usually happens once you get the deep freeze and then it starts to thaw. So it's unusual that it's starting early, but hopefully that's not a sign of things that come.
On December 28th at Fire Station 1, there was a presentation given to, I believe her name was Nurse Jennifer, who was the first person who responded to the resuscitation of Mike Musson in the parking lot of the streets of Bartlett. The story itself was incredible, but she went out of her way to commend our first responders, both police and fire, on their textbook response, saying that it was a testament to the training that our first responders in this village have. So thank you all very much and keep up the good work.
And the equipment that you have, she said that down in Memphis, they don't even have the equipment that we have. So, yeah, thank you.
Anything else? Move on to the town hall portion of the meeting. If anyone would like to address the board, kindly step up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and try to keep your comments to 3 minutes. At this point, is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the board? Seeing none here, do we have Chris on, or Chris, is there anyone on hybrid that would like to address the board?
No, there's not, Mayor.
Thank you, Chris. We'll move on to standing committee reports. First standing committee report is Building and Zoning Committee, Chairman Gunstein.
President Wallace, item A1 was added to the consent agenda and approved.
Thank you, Chairman Gunstein. Community and Economic Development Committee, Chairman Gansey.
Thank you, President Wallace. We have one item. It's updating of the BETA program for 2024. Just read. The Village Board is updating the BETA program to improve its efficiency and transparency. The Committee of the Whole reviewed proposed changes at its November 21st meeting, at which time the following updates were agreed upon. I won't read through all those. The Committee of the Whole agreed to leave the maximum amount and the ability to reapply at the same location. Staff will also conduct targeted campaigns in commercial areas that need renovation and that have not yet participated in the program. So with that, I move to approve the 2024 update to the Bartlett Economic Development Assistance Program.
Second.
Moved by trustee Gansey, seconded by trustee Swansky. Is there any discussion?
I could be wrong, but I don't remember us talking about requiring the companies that receive BETA money to join the Bartlett area of commerce. I don't necessarily agree with that, making a business join an organization to get public money. So that's all I'm going to say.
Should we reword that to request that they do versus require?
That would be fine.
And can we reword it? Can we just line through it?
Request that they join the chamber, not require
Is
it?
everybody good with request?
Sure.
Request work.
Okay. Is there any other comments about it?
I just had an issue with, when this first came up, first of all, thank you very much for the definitions and clarification on definitions, because that was something I really felt needed to be addressed, and I think you all did a really good job on doing that, on defining what exactly was qualified and what wasn't qualified. But this came up at the same time as a tax increase, and I know that it was on the table that maybe we would look at different dollar amounts or reducing the maximum allowed for this, so that's just where my concern is on this. I don't want to end the program. I just thought there might have been a compromise on that.
When we reviewed the minutes, that came up, and it seemed as though the direction we received as a consensus from the board was to leave it the same. But we can certainly review those minutes once again, if you'd like.
I think that we have the flexibility, the way it's written, to grant the amount that we feel is proper. So I wouldn't want to limit the ability to offer somebody that's making a huge investment in our town, because the amount that we limited it down to is a smaller amount.
And just for the record, we're still keeping it at a cap of 250 in the BETA program, correct?
That's correct, and that particular line item will also, is certainly for your discussion when budget time comes around, but that's what it was this fiscal year, and in the preliminary budget that'll be presented to you in March, that will be the same number.
So in March, we can lower that or raise it if.
We could look at it. I just think that it gives us flexibility.
I think that's what we talked about, the flexibility, and
It doesn't mean that we would have to offer or grant the amount that they're requesting.
Yeah, I think with the new restrictions, I mean, I've looked at it a couple different ways. I mean, we've taken a lot out of the costs that we're covering. So I have a hard time believing that somebody's going to maximize that payout. I just, based off of, other than like an Aldi or a large grocery store that's going to bring a big impact. I don't know. We talked about it. We went round and round. I'm kind of indifferent about it as long as we have flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
If we're locking in and saying that everybody's got to take X amount of dollars, then, but
I think by us using the money, or businesses using the money for repair to their parking lots, I think they're going to definitely max some of those out. It's not a cheap expense.
Yeah, but just because they're requesting the max doesn't mean we have to provide the max.
true.
Just one important sentence here. It says the total approved grant amount that has been approved is approximately $632,000 with a total private investment of $8.44 million. So I think the money's being handled properly.
Are you okay with that, trustee Swansky, staying in there?
What was the maximum, what was discussed? Was it 25 or 50?
25, I think, because our program is very generous compared to other townships and villages around us.
Just look at different payouts.
Well, I think.
Yes, I'm okay with keeping it this way as long as we discuss it in March for the budget.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right. Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Laporte?
Yes.
Swansky?
Yes.
Daney?
Yes.
Gansey?
yes.
Gunstein?
Yes.
Hopkins?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, Chairman Gansey. Finance Committee Chairman Laporte.
One agenda item this evening, the Cook County ARPA Funds Sub-Recipient Agreement. Trying to get me to say that in 2 hours. There is no budget impact. Attached is an agreement with Cook County to receive $150,000 of their American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funds, to cover Phase 2 design engineering for the bike path underpass under Route 59. This path will provide a safe and reliable connection between downtown Bartlett and the Grasslands subdivision, allowing for more bike path connectivity. I motion to approve Resolution 2024-02-R, a resolution approving the sub-recipient agreement for ARPA funds between the Village of Bartlett and the County of Cook.
I'll second that.
Moved by trustee Laporte, seconded by trustee Daney. Is there any discussion?
Is this in process of being developed at this point?
Right now, we've got Phase 1 completed and has been submitted to IDOT. They've reviewed it, provided comments. We're at that point to start the final Phase 2 design, which this will cover, and then construction from there.
Do you anticipate timeframe wise? Because I know that D.H. Horton's or Crown's development was kind of tied to this. So I want to make sure this doesn't get them to the dance and they get all their houses and then all of a sudden this falls apart. I just wanted to see how far along and what the timeframe was.
It's being done with Grasslands and D.R. Horton. It's all part of
In
that.
2024, do you think?
As far as the construction of the path, I don't know that for sure. I know they're trying to get, they're obviously building houses, so we're going to push to get it so that those residents will have a connection at that point. But we haven't, so this piece will only cover the bike path along the Route 59 right-of-way, and then Grasslands builds all the way out to Naperville and all the way down to West Bartlett. So we'll be building it in conjunction with them.
Is Crown Development or D.H. Horton paying for the underpass?
In the agreement, there's a cost share. They were capped at, I believe, $35,000, and then the village was paying the rest. So we're hoping Phase 2, get that done, and then if Cook County were to have more ARPA funds, we'd be asking them for Phase 3 money to help offset our costs.
Do we figure that the engineering is going to cost $150,000?
I don't know that yet. I've got one of the proposed, there's a structural because there's a wall going in. We've got that. I'm waiting for the civil side of it. I don't think it's going to be that much, but
Yeah.
they threw that number out there, and I figured make sure we get enough to cover what we got to do, so.
Could ask for more.
Well, I wanted it for construction more, but
Yeah.
focusing on getting the design done, which we do need to get that done, and then hopefully if we can get it through the IDOT process as quickly as possible, then we'll try to get an application in for Phase 3 as well.
Does this go before Metro as well, because it is by the tracks?
We'll need to work with them since it is adjacent to the tracks.
I think we can knock on our neighbor's door for that. He's on the Metro board. Greg. Good. Any other discussion?
That's all we have.
And then, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Swansky?
Yes.
Daney?
Yes.
Gansey?
Yes.
Gunstein?
Yes.
Hopkins?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, Chairman Laporte. License and Ordinance Committee Chairman Hopkins.
Thank you, President Wallace. There's nothing to report tonight.
Thank you, Chairman Hopkins. Police and Health Committee Chairman Swansky.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have nothing to report this evening.
Thank you, Chairman Swansky. Public Works and Golf Committee Chairman Daney.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I believe we had 4 items on the agenda, and if I understood it correctly, items F1 and F2 were
Just
removed from
F2.
consent?
No, just 2.
Oh, just F2? Okay. Okay. This is a sludge handling contract amendment. On March 21, 2023, the Village Board approved Resolution 2023-23-R, a resolution approving of the contract for the biosolids disposal service agreement between the Village of Bartlett and Sang Grove Central LLC. The contract was awarded for a 5-year term. Recently, the state law that governed the prevailing wage rates was amended to include sludge handling, eliminating the agricultural exception they were previously under. Because of this change in the prevailing wage rate, I'm not saying this correctly, Sangro's wage rates have increased 120% and have since requested to adjust their cubic yardage rate from $23.10 to $32.52. Based on recent bids for sludge handling in the surrounding suburbs, staff believes that this rate to be compatible and to avoid a lapse in service, believes the best course of action is to amend the existing contract to reflect the change in rates. A contract amendment is attached for review, which we've looked at, and board approval. And staff is recommending approving the contract amendment with this company. And Dan, do you have anything to add to that?
Not really. I mean, the contract started in 2023, which at that time did not have a prevailing wage requirement. Starting January 1 of this year is when the prevailing wage requirement was enacted, and so we had to, basically, Synagro came back to us and gave us their new rate. We kind of went and talked to, unfortunately, there's only like one other company that has ever bid on our, when we've gone out to bid, there's only 2 companies that bid it, so there's not a lot of options out there. But we did talk to other communities to find out where their rate was at, and this is comparable to what other communities are paying.
Thank you. Based on that, I move to approve Resolution 2024 04-R, a resolution approving the First Amendment to the Bartlett Biosolids Disposal Service Agreement between the Village of Bartlett and Sangro Central LLC.
Second.
Moved by trustee Danny, seconded by trustee Gunstein. Is there any discussion?
Did we look at their payroll to find out what they were actually paying their employees? And is it factual that it went up 120%?
We have not seen their current rates that they're going up. Well, other than what we've been asking them to give us information to justify the increase. They did show us what the new rate is based on versus what they were at before, because they were using that agricultural exemption. So there is an increase for sure. So I don't know what options we have other.
Don't we have a contract?
We do, and the contract requires prevailing wages, but in 2023, it wasn't a prevailing wage job, and in 2024, it is. Kirk can probably talk a little about, we talked about pushing the issue. We could probably do it for a year, but like I said, there's only one other company that has bid on the alternative, so if we were to cancel the contract with this one, we have one option, and I can imagine where those prices will be at, but that's kind of where we're at.
And with the change in the law, every other vendor is going to be subject to the same prevailing wage requirement now, so there's really not much way for us to get around that.
This is a niche market, I would assume.
Yeah, like I said, there's only a couple that are doing it.
So wouldn't they have been looking at the legislation that might have been affecting, but this isn't even a year old, this contract. So when they negotiated the contract with us,
Well, it was in 2023, so they had 2023 was at the rates that.
but the legislation was on the radar, is what I'm
Right.
saying, right? So if it's not like you can swing a cat and hit one of these companies, right? So you would think that if it is such a niche market, that they would be looking at legislation that may be affecting them in the future?
Yeah, but if it hasn't been set in place, they're going to bid it based on what their current rate is at. So, I mean, otherwise they could price themselves out of the
I
project.
don't think it would be possible for them to bid on some type of estimated amount in the future unless they put it in the contract saying that if this legislation does pass, here's the new rate.
I think we need to protect the taxpayers and maybe add into this contract that we have the option, if we do agree to this, that we should be able to cancel this contract and send it out to bid again. And I know you said it's a niche market and there's only 2 others, but maybe with the higher rates and its prevailing wage, there's going to be more firms that might bid on it to see if they're actually competitive. Because, I mean, I don't know what people are paying their drivers, but 120% below what prevailing wage is probably pretty low. I don't know, I mean, if I was hauling sludge, I would want a pretty good dollar, but that's just me. So I think we need to add in there to protect the taxpayers a way out of this 5-year contract, because we're just basically taking it at their.
We do have it.
Certainly, yeah, I can address that. So it is only a 1-year contract.
Yeah.
There's renewal options, but they're not mandatory. So if we decided we wanted to go with another company or bid this out again, we're only going to be locked in for that year term.
Okay.
So until March, when
Yes,
It'll be-
that's when the first,
anniversary comes up.
yeah, I think that's the, yes.
March.
Yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, the new law is going to require certified payroll reports.
Certified payroll reports will have to
Any
be uploaded.
prevailing
Yes.
wage.
See what they're paying their employees.
We can. They don't, they upload them directly to the state now. They don't provide them to us anymore, but those are something that you can check, yes.
And this is just going forward. We're not paying for their increases that they've sustained. We're only paying for once this gets approved from that point on.
As of January 1st of this year, that's when it would be effective.
And
So
their
nothing.
contract ends in March.
Yes.
Or does it reset with this contract?
So if we want to not renew, we'd have to give them notice pretty soon, because I think there is a 60-day period if we want to not renew under the contract.
So let's trigger that date for the first meeting in February to make sure that we're inside the window.
Just so you guys know, if you look at their website, they're a nationwide company, and their top board of directors are all from Goldman Sachs. So these are not, it's not like they're just working on a farm down the road and they're billing us more money. This is a nationwide company, so FYI.
Is this a similar company like a Safety Clean?
Similar.
Similar, I mean, they're hauling it, they basically haul it to, they have, their main objection, they take the sludge and find fields to put it on. So their job is really finding all the fields and being able to apply it to the different farm fields.
It's that organic vegetables you get
Mm-hmm.
in those fields.
Yummy.
If we don't agree to this, it's not like we're going to put some mom and pop shop out of business here. We're going to be affecting Goldman Sachs.
Yeah.
So no on this.
Like I said, we've checked with other
Or
communities.
sell the
We're-
shares.
Our rates are, or this new rate will be comparable to what everybody else is paying. So it's, I don't think if we go out the bid, I don't know that we're going to see a big decrease.
And to Trustee Hopkins' point, I mean, when you're doing, I used to do books for prevailing wage and non-prevailing wage jobs, and when you do prevailing wage jobs, you got to supply all of your payroll records, so we can get access to that and do the math by March. Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Remember if we have motion?
Yeah, we have a motion.
Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Did we have a second?
Yeah, I think done. Trustee Gunstein.
Okay. Trustee Daney?
Yes.
Gansey?
Yes.
Gunstein?
Yes.
Hopkins?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
Swansky?
Yes.
That motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's all we have for this evening.
Thank you, Chairman Daney. Any new business anyone would like to discuss? Any questions, additionally questions that came up?
I guess we can just say Aldi, February 1st at 8:15 a.m.
Yeah, Aldi, February 1st, be there, be square.
So no more talk about more brewing, no more talk about Aldi. What's next?
Yeah. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Daney, seconded by Trustee Laporte. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Daney?
Yes.
Gansey?
Yes.
Gunstein?
Yes.
Hopkins?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
Swansky?
Yes.
We are